Okay, so we're going to practice finding keywords in non-fiction texts or books. And I've chosen this book, The World of Pirates. And the first thing we're going to read about is what the worlds of pirate is actually like. So I'll just read to you the text that's here and you can listen to me as I go. A pirate is a robber on the sea. Pirates attack ships and ports, stealing treasure and other goods. As soon as the first ships began to carry cargo, pirates began to plunder them, and they are still a threat today. About 500 years ago, some areas became special pirate strongholds. The corsairs swooped on vessels in the Mediterranean. The buccaneers of the Caribbean attacked treasure galleons on their way to Europe. The Indian Ocean and the South China Seas were also dangerous places for merchant ships to sail. Okay, so let's have a little bit of a closer look at what some of the important words in this part might be. So the very first thing I'm going to do is to highlight some of the words that maybe I don't understand. So reading through that, a pirate is a robber on the sea. Pirates attack ships and ports, stealing treasure and other goods. Most of that makes pretty good sense. But there's another word in the next sentence that I'm maybe not too sure about, and that's this one here. This word under here is actually plunder. So I'm going to underline that one because that's a word that I'm not too sure about. And as I read through, I'm going to scan the next bit and I'm going to look at maybe the word vessels. And I'm also going to underline these two words that are in little inverted commas there because I'm not quite sure what they're referring to either. Usually the first thing I would do would be to go to the glossary, which is usually in the back of a non-fiction book, and just check what those words mean to help me with my general understanding of what's going on in this book. But just for today, I'm going to tell you that the word plunder means to steal and rob from things, that vessels, which is this one over here, that vessels are a kind of a ship, it's another word for ship, and that the words here for corsairs and buccaneers, they're actually referring to two different sorts of groups or, if you like, teams of pirates. And so some of them were belonging to particular regions. The corsairs belonged in the Mediterranean and the buccaneers were in the Caribbean. Alright, so we've looked at what some of those new words might mean. Now what we're going to do is just select some other words that we can look at, and I'm going to underline those words as well. And those words are going to tell us really what do we think are the really important words that tell us about what a pirate is. So the first line said a pirate is a robber on the sea, and then we're going into that in more detail. So we have here that pirates attack ships. We have that they steal treasure, and then we also start to hear, so that's told us what they do, and now it starts to talk about how they went about it. So it first happened 500 years ago, so quite a long time ago, and there were some special areas or particular areas where pirates liked to operate, and one of those was in the Mediterranean and another one was in the Caribbean. So we've also got that they were in the Indian Ocean and the South China Seas were also dangerous places. So by looking at the words that we've underlined, we can actually notice that we've collected some information about what the pirates did. We've found out when they were actually doing those things and also where some of the places were that had happened. So the next time you start working on reading a non-fiction book, you'll be able to maybe leave some tracks about what some of these things are, pick out the keywords in your book and pick out the words that you don't know and that you need to check on so that you can get a really good understanding of what you are reading when you're reading non-fiction.